what causes disconnection? It's judgment. It's labels. So it's identifying with labels. It's judging something as good or bad or evil or what's the opposite to evil? Heavenly? I'm not sure. Godly? I'm not sure. But anyway, so it's not saying that everything is all of it. Everything is everything. And that's an interesting concept. But there's wholeness to everything. That everything's complete. It's just when we judge it, we split it, we separate it, and we don't see the wholeness. And so the book is a journey to you putting together the pieces to understand how to better better feel at one in your body. And then when you're at one in your body, then you're at one with everyone and everything. So that's the goal of the book, is to help you start that journey to bring the integration of pieces back together so that you feel whole, you feel loved, you feel complete. There's nothing missing. So I'll start to articulate this over the coming weeks in more detail. I just wanted to share an outline because it's 2026 and I'm deep into the writing exercise. I'm starting to pull together the thinking that I've been doing over the last couple of years or since launching the podcast. Actually, the podcast is just over a year old. So we've done the anniversary, recorded over 60 episodes or somewhere around that, and getting closer to completing this book. Would love your feedback on anything that I'm not clearly explaining so that I can better articulate that in the book and I can better articulate that on the podcast. Because ultimately, I want this to be relatable, because if it's relatable, then you're going to understand it and then put the pieces together. Whereas if it's unrelatable, then that creates a disconnection. Anything that we don't relate to causes disconnection. And we can only relate through comparing and contrasting, which can cause disconnection if we judge it, right? So the greater the contrast, the greater the difference, the greater the gap, the greater we perceive something is missing and we judge it. It's incomplete. It's incomplete awareness. So anything that you have around a black and white opinion that this is it, most likely you've got a lopsided view of it. When judgment drive emotion, because it's lopsided thinking, it creates a polarization, it creates an unsettledness, it creates emotion. And so the more we can look for what we're not seeing, look for the wholeness in the situation, the more the emotions start to settle and we see the clarity. Just recently read a Buddhism teaching, and the monk was explaining to the student that when you look at boiling water, there's no clarity. You cannot see the bottom. It is angry. And that's what it's like when you judge or when you label something, you create an emotion, invoke an emotion within you, and you lose the clarity. You can't see the wholeness. It's only when the emotions settle, and that's the boiling water cooling down, that you can see the bottom. We see the bottom when our emotions, or we see the wholeness when our emotions are settled. So this is why more reflection, more mindfulness is really helpful in this process of seeing the wholeness, is because whilst we're agitated, whilst we're unsettled, we can't see the wholeness. There's no clarity. We have this connection with one side that we're unable to break because of the emotional bond. So we need to calm down that emotion, break those emotional bonds, and that will happen when you start to look at what you're not seeing, the other side.